Number of PhDs that China does and look at the number of PhDs India does, and kind of taking those PhDs to the market. India's way behind, and
erased the borders all over the world. But like the way people are learning from India also, we shouldn't forget.
There is a lot of pressure coming from the United States, and you can see that very clearly. Pharma, we know in the US is big business.
President Trump might be imposing tariffs on India and other countries, but at the end of the day, we are unmoved.
Do you think the Indian institutions, especially the science institution, we need to bring back that romance into science again?
You rightly pressed the right button, Mr. Suresh. I compliments to you.
But you did speak about packaging being the second physician. Can you just elaborate on that?
Of course, they need to also, because it's a life-saving industry. If something goes wrong, everything goes wrong.
As a final question, I would ask you this.
I take around 2 minutes to answer this question because it is very close to my heart.
Welcome to Conversations. I am Suresh Kochatil. Pharma is a big business, and more important than pharma is how it's packaged, how it's given away to the consumers. Good old days, we didn't have much of romance in packaging, but things have improved since then. And the pharma industry itself has grown big. But I have somebody with me today who started his life in a paper mill and then grew along with that. And today, he traverses a array of things that he does. But primarily, I will say that he is one of the pioneers in packaging in India. And definitely, he has a whole host of designations which I can name, but I will call Mr. Chakravarthi AVPS, Chairman and Managing Director of Ecobliss India, which is an Indo-Dutch venture, in the conversation today. And as we go along, we will discover more facets about him, about what he does, where he is going from here, and how is the Indian industry itself doing. Welcome, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you very much, Mr. Suresh.
So, Mr. Chakravarthi, the main thing that I always keep asking people is, when I start a conversation, is where are you from? Where did you grow up? Your parents, your sibling. Can you just take us through all that?
Yeah, I was fortunate to have born on the banks of the river Godavari. That's a tier 2 town, city you call Rajamandri. So my primary education went there. So lucky. Up to +2, I studied there. And then I was too early in education. In fact, when I was 5, I was admitted into class 3. So literally, when I was around 15 and a few months, I finished my +2. So that's how I ended up taking up a challenge as a first assignment of employment as early as when I was even before 20 years of age as an electrical engineer in AP paper mills in Rajamandri. So that's how I started my career in a paper mill as a maintenance engineer in the beginning, the first 5 years. And later on, I went into operations in Ballarpur Industries. They took over one industry nearby Rajamandri only. That was another company which was making boards. But this time, I went into a management role at a very early stage, to be specific, around 25 years of age. And I got married around that time.
Okay. So when you Ballarpur, and of course that's part of Thapar Group,
Thapar
think,
Group,
not mistaken, yeah. And also the paper thing. You are an engineer who went somewhere else after some time, but I think packaging remained with you as one of the prime roles. So when you moved in from a paper mill business into something else that you did, how did that transition happen, sir?
As I told you, after the first 5 years of experience, which was really, I cherished all that memories of paper mill, because I learned a lot. Unlike today's environment, there used to be induction program. We used to learn from peers and superiors a lot. That helped me to take a plunge into the next role as I told you, in the Ballarpur Industries. And I was so fortunate to have associated with none other than Gautam Thapar himself, who was the chief of Ballarpur at that time. We were doing some special projects. I was into management. And then not only were doing, in fact, that unit was not doing so well. So we ventured into alternative business options, selling some edible oil, etc. In fact, I was into marketing Ballarpur products those days. And I was traveling a lot from Rajahmundry to Delhi those days, to be precise, early 90s, 1989 to 94. And then during the year 94, the Balarpur bought one Swedish-based company, Swedish collaborative company in Hyderabad, which was submitted to BIFR those days. They bought the unit, which was a packaging unit primarily. I think you must be knowing the Tetra Pak and all. It's
Yes,
a group
correct.
company, Ackerland House in Sweden, one of the largest conglomerate in the packaging. So when the Balarpur bought that company, I was deputed here as a plant head to look after the production and then the engineering also. That's how the packaging entered into my genes in the, maybe to be precise, in 1994. Ever since, I think it's a long journey.
So when you say packaging and when you say Tetra Pak at those years, I think Tetra Pak is, I think, way ahead of its time in its
Yes,
entry into India. Maybe now it's become a kind of a household product and packaging has changed different ways. I think we have Paharpur also, if I'm not mistaken, one of the packaging
Indian
leaders.
companies, yes.
Because one of my bosses from Times of India used to work for that company. I remember that I'd gone to Delhi to see the product.
It's a big company.
Today, when you say packaging, be it the pharma products that you're dealing with right now, or just plain supermarket packaging that you're speaking of, that is what attracts everybody from a child to a grown-up. How has packaging evolved from the early days of 90s to where it is now?
Suresh, I have some sentiment associated with the packaging. I have a passion right from the beginning, even though I entered in the packaging from paper, even that's part of the packaging also incidentally. And I developed this knack of looking at various packaging those days. Every time, those days, the early days of the supermarkets in India, you must be aware.
Yes.
So we used to go and I leave my wife for shopping, and then I used to see on the shelves all the packaging, whatever is coming, and then trying to see what can be improved upon that. So in our childhood, as you rightly agreed, hardly there was any packaging. Everything we used to do in a unpacked manner. But now people say packaging is unavoidable burden, but I look at it differently, because packaging saves lives. Packaging really, take the case of the COVID times, the high deadly pandemic days. But for the packaging, people would not have survived. I tell you, that might be exaggeration, somebody may say, but simple things like the face masks, things like any medical equipment and all. And most importantly, when we are not moving outside our homes, the food was being delivered to your homes during the lockdown periods thanks to packaging. Forget it, even the vaccine.
Correct.
Vaccine has to be moved all along in different tropical temperatures. And the first line of defense medicines, whatnot, every life-saving medicines. But for the packaging, I think these things do not exist. The packaging industry and the pharmaceutical industry has a consociational relationship. So an innovation in the packaging paves way for an innovation in the pharmaceutical. Similarly, pharmaceutical also, if some innovation takes place, we are thinking about how we pack it in the future. Because unless until the right compatible packaging is there, I think the shelf life will become obsolete. It has to keep up the drug's life, shelf life, up to the expiry date till the patient uses. So the right packaging has to be there in place. So all these things have really attracted me, and then do a lot of innovation and research within myself, and then learn a lot. Fortunately, I've been moving around all over the world from early 90s itself. I think by this time I have moved around 45, 50 countries during my period.
So when you say packaging, I know today when you look at drugs, when you go to the over-the-counter medicines or even to a pharmacy, it's a color of the medicines that needs to be shown. Previously, you used to hide it. Now it's very open. I mean, you have the blister pack or whatever you want to call it, different types of packaging that are coming today. Everybody loves to see those colors, and people usually turn it around, and then the companies also try to make the capsules look better. You're a part of Pharmaxil, and you're an advisor to many other organizations. So what exactly does your role in Pharmaxil do?
The Pharmaxil, my role is very limited. In fact, with my interaction with several CEOs in the system, I was also a board member for a while in the Pharmaxil for one period, and then I continued to be the advisor. But in the pharmaceutical part, I can consider myself as a pharma entrepreneur also, not only as a packaging entrepreneur, considering the fact that I hold a drug license for packing the goods. Of course, currently we are doing non-schedule M drugs, which are non-prescribed drugs.
Yes.
But in the future, we have a plan to go for the GMP facilities, which is a norm in Europe and USA. In India, it is yet to come. But we wanted to pack and integrate the packaging by taking the license for the manufacturing also. So by virtue of that, I'm a pharmaceutical entrepreneur also. Incidentally, I was also appointed by the board of Federation of Pharma Entrepreneurs. India is one of the largest pharmaceutical industry manufacturers association, FOPE it is called, as the chairman of AP and Telangana. And I'm also on the National Executive Board as a senior vice president. So I take pride in spreading the good word about the Indian pharma within India and outside India also. There is a lot of positive things, even though some flaws are there like any other industry. Because Indian pharma is doing a great thing for the world. Actually, India is considered to be the pharmacy of the world. Correct. By supplying affordable drugs even today, and we are supplying to almost 200, 215 countries. It's not a small thing, Mr. Suresh.
So when you talk of Ecobliss, which you are the chairman and managing director, and when you talk of the fact that you travel 50 countries, do you think we are still at the learning curve, or we have got over the learning curve to become experts in our own right? And what does Ecobliss do?
It's an yes and no also. Yes, because considering the way the industry has transformed during the last 30 years. In fact, I was traveling, and my first overseas was early 90s. It's almost 34 years. At that time, we used to look at West. Will we ever do like these things? It's not only packaging, many other things. And now I think technology has erased the borders all over the world. And today we are on par with any innovations, any technology in the world. At the same time, a lot of technologies are adapting by every day. It is changing. We have to catch up certain things, and we have to learn from others. But like the way people are learning from India also, we shouldn't forget. And at the Ecobliss, we take pride in doing a patient-centric solutions. That's what I really liked it, the system. I passionately manufacture and sell the products because it's a concept to finish. We give the concept to the medical companies, how the secondary packaging can be done, how it can be patient-centric, how it can adhere the doses, because many a times when the doctor prescribes the drugs, we tend to forget to take the dose in a regular intervals. So the Ecobliss packaging do away that kind of forgetfulness, and then improves the drug adherence and dose adherence, and by then actually the patient gets completely benefited. And in addition, there are a lot of drugs which are in West were banned for to be packed in non-child resistance packaging, regular packaging. You have to make it in a child resistant pack. But believe me, when you make the drugs in child resistant packs, we should not forget they also should be amicably opened by the senior citizens, especially the people with arthritic hands and all. If they are not able to open, it's obsolete. So it's a fine balance. It has to be child resistant and at the same time what we call senior friendly. So Ecobliss is a pioneer in making these kind of packaging solutions for the pharmaceutical industry. So I take pride in nurturing these designs and developments every day. Everything we look after. And considering the pharmaceutical industry, once again you told, at FOPE, Federation of Pharma Entrepreneurs, or Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council of India, all other pharmaceutical organizations which I am associated with, we campaign how India is going forward in supplying the affordable drugs to the world. Yes. There's a lot of negativity happening in the world, and we have to curb those negative vibes. And so I speak in a lot of platforms every year, in fact, within India and abroad also, on various pharmaceutical seminars and conferences. It's not just packaging conferences. I keep speaking on pharmaceutical conferences also. I'll give you a couple of examples to make us really proud, and it's a hair-raising experience if we hear. Many positive things the Indian citizens themselves do not know. In 1990s, when the world was suffering from the deadly HIV, I think it was an Indian the Cipla, I can name it also, because you can call it as a biosimilar copy. He used to be called as a Robin Hood of pharma those days. Nevertheless, because there is a saying, if you can save one person's life, you can save the world. So he took that in a positive way, and internationally WHO also allows, when it is coming to the question of saving lives, the drugs to be with biosimilar copies can be allowed. And can you imagine, the Cipla supplied a fraction of what it used to be costing a HIV cocktail for an year drug. It used to be around, I do not remember, around $300, $400 against $15,000 actually. So can you say we saved millions of lives, and with the help of UNESCO and all, I think the price has further come down those days. But why we talk about Cipla? I'll take about our own Hyderabad. Today, even we are producers of the world's largest volume of antiretroviral drugs.
Correct.
And the cancer, one of the most affordable cancer treatment comes from our own companies like Natco and other companies. And Aurobindo exports to, I think this is the largest exports of the formulations. Dr. Reddy's, let's not forget, innovations. Divi's Murali, in fact, the world's one of the largest acclaimed API manufacturers. Why I take pride in naming all these things, getting myself associated with all these big CEOs, it really gives a fascinating experience when you have an opportunity to interact them. What is the positive in the Indian pharma industry is, almost all the pharma CEOs, take the case of Dilipbhai Sanghvi, take the case of Pankajbhai of HYBIZ, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, Natco, or anybody, Mr. Ram Prasad of Aurobindo, Mr. Parsa Reddy, all of them have some passion about what they're doing.
True.
It's not just the business. If everybody wants just business, they would have chosen some other industries. Passionately they do it, they love it. Each and every drug, each and every innovation, they nurture it, they do it, they treat it as their babies. And of course, they need to also, because it's a life-saving industry. If something goes wrong, everything goes wrong. So we take very pride. In fact, a lot can be done in Indian pharma in the future, because currently we are supplying almost 40% of the generic drugs, 20% of the global. 1 pill out of 3 pills consumed in USA are only manufactured from India. And around more than 1/3 of the US FDA approved plants outside USA are from India alone. And the largest cluster, New Jersey used to be called largest cluster of pharmaceutical companies. Hyderabad now ranks the largest cluster of the pharmaceutical companies also. There are a lot of positive things, Mr. Suresh. In fact, each and every CEO, when we read about them, each and every company, their innovations, each and every new drug we are launching, everything, when you are studying about it, you feel like you are owning it. It's ours. And I'm not exaggerating, because I also work for other associations, like you told, on the international trade and all. I was part of the FTA executed between UAE and India, free trade agreements. I actively worked with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. When I travel and meet several ambassadors and all, many times they tell, actually India is getting a lot of pride, because post-COVID it has further improved also. Why we talk about the consuls and ambassadors? When we take a taxi in those countries, like African countries, South Africa, even parts of Southeast Asia, Middle East Asia, when you talk about when you talk to the cab drivers or any vendors, they also say, "Oh, India, you supply medicines." So that gives a very positive vibe when you are outside India, when you are being recognized by the people also. I think it's a long way.
Yeah, actually, from the molecule to the market, as they say, from the lab to the market, 10 out of 10, 8 molecules will fail and 2 will succeed, but they will make the mark.
Absolutely.
Especially during COVID.
Even more, in fact.
Yeah,
sometimes all the 10 might fail.
Yeah, almost 10 might fail.
That's big game. Dr. Reddy used to tell, We should never be afraid of that. We should
Really?
keep on innovating, actually. I really liked him, his attitude. I had the fortune to meet him a couple of times those days. He left early, but in early 2000 I met him also.
So actually we spoke about during COVID also the Covaxin and other drugs that are made in India. We had a lot of positives that time. India is still known as the drug capital of the world, but today there is a lot of pressure coming from the United States, and you can see that very clearly. Pharma, we know in the US is big business. I mean, it's both. Elon Musk now is crying about it, and we know for sure that one of the major reasons for bankruptcy in countries like India is healthcare, and especially the method of vaccines or the cost of medicines. And I've personally gone through it, so I know how it is. So when we talk of such things, when you talk of serving the world, when you talk of selling those drugs across the world, do you think the government of India has done enough, or there needs to be a lot more in terms of research and development? Because I'm told that look at the number of PhDs that China does and look at the number of PhDs India does. And kind of taking those PhDs to the market, India is way, way behind, and the Chinese are like way ahead of us. Is it true, sir?
Mr. Suresh, you are right in a way, because we lack in innovations, we lack in research and development in this sector. But that was past. Now the enough initiatives we are observing, industry academia collaborations and some new molecules developed. Catechol therapy recently developed with IIT Mumbai and our own Laurus laboratories. These are few examples only. Nevertheless, you are very right. But on the other hand, so India is known for supplying the generic drugs. So it's a biosimilar copies, or it's not a copy in a technical term. It's a more generic drugs always are affordable, and we are supplying to the world. But as you rightly said, the future belongs to new innovations. But the repurposing of the drugs also is another area, and a lot of research is going on. For example, if a drug is prescribed to use for certain use, it might have some other uses which we do not know. Actually, this is how the repurposing of the drugs are also happening. But in the future, I tell you, President Trump might be imposing tariffs on India and other countries. But at the end of the day, we are unmoved, because the cost of the medication, the cost of healthcare is huge compared to that. They cannot afford curbing Indian imports. Okay, by virtue of imposing tariffs, they only are buying at higher prices the same Indian drugs. To be technically true, but the future still belongs to India. I tell you a very simple example. India is manufacturing around $60 to $65 billion drugs, out of which $27 billion is exports to 200 countries. This out of $27 billion, almost one third of the total exports go to USA. But do you know how Pfizer, Novartis, Mr. Vas Narasimhan, I had the fortune of meeting him a few times. Our Indian origin guy who is heading world's second largest. Roche, Pfizer, Novartis, all these companies are the top, Merck, and then these are all top companies. Do you know the turnover of the single company? Take for example, Novartis turnover is $65 billion. So their entire Indian turnover is only $65 billion.
Just one.
So there is a lot to go. Actually, we got enough. Actually, we got nothing to worry. The way the Indians now I must tell you, because introducing the GMP revised schedule, we talk about the Drug Control General is very particular in implementing the new quality systems and all. I think people who do not believe a quality angle in the pharmaceuticals, they perish over a period of time. They have to have that quality. I remember telling Mr. G.V. Prasad or Laurus Satyanarayana, both of them, they say, see, when we roll out our drugs from our factories, consider those drugs are consumed by your own daughter or your daughter-in-law or mother or your grandchildren. So you're not making to the world. Maybe you're making to your family. So as long as you keep this in mind, I think you can never take a chance of supplying inferior quality drugs. But the future is bright. The Indian entrepreneurs also are buoyant. I think a lot of discipline is taking place over a period of time. There will be a correction stage, consolidation stage, which you and me are going to encounter in the next 5 years. I think we have bright days ahead.
In fact, the amount of research in the life sciences and other fields, because of this IT boom that happened there earlier, now of course it's tapering down. We're seeing not many youngsters getting into life microbiology or even research because they don't see it as very exciting or high-paying kind of jobs, unlike an IT sector, or glamorous, just to get the right word. Do you think the academia, you rightly talked about the interaction between the industry and academia that is there, taking the products from the labs to the market. Do you think the Indian institutions, especially the science institution, we need to bring back that romance into science again and encourage a lot of youngsters to get into this research field, even though it may not be as exciting as a manufacturing field or even as in the information technology? Do you think that, how does the industry need to do this? Do they need to bring in their expertise to the faculty level so that those students can be taught new things that are not being taught in college?
You rightly pressed the right button, Mr. Suresh. I compliments to you. But I take a pause to answer this question because in the beginning, maybe 20 years ago, I also used to talk about the upcoming engineers, like they don't have a vision on the future. They don't even read the basics. They just come from the colleges. They want to do the jobs without even learning basics, etc. And all we used to. But over a period of time, as I keep interacting with the Gen Z or the millennials, whatever you talk, I think they know what they want. They really know what they want. Many of them. Okay, few people they are left out because if they don't go in the sail in the journey, they will be left out. But most of them, in fact, they are interested to know something and they are interested to want to do multi-skilling and apply their skills in various fields. So now coming back to the life sciences and the sciences base, whether it is biosciences or synthetic sciences, either way, plant sciences or medical sciences, both are bioengineering, in fact, which is going to be the future. Interestingly, we have around 90% of the engineers are digital engineers. Only 10% of them are the basic core sciences and engineering. So everybody studies IT engineering. But that's a blessing in disguise, I tell you. Several platforms I quoted this also. Why India has an advantage? Today, India is good in chemistry, synthetics. That is how our Indian pharmaceutical industry also has evolved over a period of time during the last 30 years. Now, parallelly, India is very good in IT, digital technology. But 3 out of the 4 or 5 IT engineers working in Silicon Valley are from India, and most of them from Hyderabad also, for information. So this is a huge advantage for India. Now with the integration of the elements like artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, blockchain, all these things into the basic sciences, the culminating into the synchronizing the digital technology into the biotechnology or chemical technology and all, the combinedly it is paving a way for new innovations. Take for example of the even the COVID phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials. AI played a huge role.
mRNA vaccines?
Yeah, you rightly said. Imagine the Pfizer or Moderna, they would not have brought out the vaccines in time without the help of the digital technology. So earlier you have to physically see the results, feed the vaccine to the people and then wait for 6 months, whether it is vaccine or even a drug also. Now, the advent of the technologies AI and blockchain, this is accelerating the trials also. This is helping the new drug innovations also. And not only that, right from the manufacturing stage, innovation in the laboratory up to the patient, the entire gamut of supply chain, digital technology is playing a huge role, which is going to be very beneficial in the future. Don't be surprised in 10 years from now, if somebody asks which will be the largest company, largest pharmaceutical company, for say, we tend to say maybe Pfizer, maybe Novartis, Roche, or GSK, or something like that. I'm not surprised. It could be Google or Amazon or Microsoft. These companies may be the largest pharmaceutical companies in the future.
Yeah, in fact, Stargate, which President Trump recently launched with Oracle and others, Sam Altman of AI and all
Absolutely.
that, and son of these people got together and they said, we're going to invest 500 billion in AI infrastructure.
Imagine.
And there they spoke about, during that press conference, I think, I don't remember who exactly it was, but one of those three innovators, one of the three companies mentioned that mRNA vaccines are going to be the future, that you can predict cancer
Absolutely.
within a month of its presence in the body. I mean, is that going to be the future? Because rightly spoke about the use of AI and ML and all in this. But do you think going forward, I mean, I know you can't predict 20 years from now, it's too long a period. 5 years from now, as you rightly predicted, there's going to be a shift from, even doing testing, now getting into a faster mode.
Very
And new drugs being rolled out in a faster manner. Instead of waiting for 10 years, now the turnaround cycle will be reduced to maybe a couple of years.
I take around 2 minutes to answer this question because it is very close to my heart. I also used to say the packaging will be your second physician. Actually, there's another statement which went viral all over the world. How packaging can be a physician. I'll tell you about that later on. But as far as the medication is concerned, now it is more of a prevention than cure. We are not waiting for the disease to come. No wonder, just like our Aadhaar card in India, some countries, especially the Scandinavian countries, they already have analyzed each and every citizen's, the cell therapy, gene therapy, you must have heard.
Yes,
So their entire, the body, they analyzed, and they will predict in the next 5 years what kind of diseases you may be going to have, or next 10 years what kind of situation your body is going to face. So based on that, the treatment, we don't call it as a treatment. Maybe the feeding nutraceuticals, feeding some, it is not medicines, it may not be medicines all the time, some kind of a combinations. So this is how the technology is evolving. And coming to the straight answer to what your question is, today, post-COVID, even for the diagnosis, you don't need to really go to a diagnosis center, spend hours and hours with a simple, in fact, you don't need to give your blood also. A lot of digital technologies are coming. Actually, they will, even wearable devices, such an advanced wearable devices. We used to have a basic wearable device. Now the wearable devices are going to tell you not just your heartbeat, how we are going to perform health-wise in the next few months. The devices are going to tell you. And you are consulting your choice of the physician worldwide, because now, thanks to the high bandwidth of the internet, you can choose your doctor and just upload your diagnostic reports online, and then he will treat you. And he will also analyze you through a video call. Because of the high bandwidth, you can visualize all your organs by virtually, like the way you physically view a person or a patient, like in our days. So everything is virtual, and you get a treatment. He prescribes the drugs, and sitting at your home, you order the drugs, and then even the injectables, self-injectables. Imagine the diabetes people, how they used to suffer every day.
Insulin.
The pain was unbearable. Every day, how many shots? 10 shots. 10 times they used to suffer. It is completely pain-free injections. A simple patch on your body, and it regulates. In fact, at a periodical intervals, it gives you medicine without you in your knowledge. So such advancements have already taken place in. So the medical devices is another area, drug delivery devices. I think a lot of innovations are happening in this area.
In fact, I wish we could go on and on, but then always there is a time factor. But you did speak about packaging being the second physician. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, this is my own statement. I proudly acclaim. Just in fact, even before COVID, I made this statement in one of conferences. I was delivering the opening address in a European conference, a pharmaceutical conference. So why I told packaging is a second physician. Look at the way we manufacture in Ecobliss. We have valid packs. So basically, when you go to a doctor, he says, okay, I'm prescribing these drugs. These are the painkillers, these are the antibiotics. In the combination you have to take. Maybe on the Sunday morning you take this, Sunday afternoon you take this, and you skip a day, and Wednesday you take this, and later on, after 1 week, you wait for it. He keeps on telling you and gives you some drugs. And 90% of the times we forget to take as per the
Schedule.
prescription what he has told. So this packaging has completely preempted the danger of missing the drug. You see, it gives you a clear alarm where you are, when you have to take, and once you take the medicine, you'll get to know it's already taken. Okay, you can mark it, because you cannot throw this away. The new packagings, and hold on. Actually, you can integrate the electronics into the packaging. And when you have the drug dosage taken by you, and it correlates with the AR integration, it sends signals back to the physician or the company as they deem to be, and then they analyze your body, what is happening, and then they prescribe you maybe another medicine. So literally the packaging is in your hands. That means the final contact between the drug and a patient, maybe that's me, it's the packaging. There is no nurse, there is no physician, there is no C&F agent or the medicine manufacturing company. It's only packaging in the place. So it is going to tell, it is actually acting as a physician, and it is telling you. Sometimes with the integration of augmented reality, now it has become a reality also. I tell you, we know very well with a simple QR code scan, you will get to know when the medicine is made, where it is made, what is the roots of the medicine, how it has to be taken, etc. And all that is common. Now with the integration of the augmented reality, virtually your doctor will present on the pack itself with just a simple scan. You don't need any equipment. And he tells you about all the story of the drug and how to take it. That's again simple. But now I think we should appreciate this technology advancement. It's going to be a real time. Literally the doctor on the real time, he speaks to you, and it will be interactive. As a patient, I can talk to the doctor on the packaging. So the doctor will be present on the virtually with a 3D hologram. He appears before you on your table, and then he speaks to you on your packaging. So literally we are talking to the doctor, and then taking his ideas, and then you tell him, okay, I took these medicines, there's no improvement, what should I do? And then he tells you something, and then once you stop it, he will disappear. So
this sounds almost like a Star Wars setup.
No, this is going to happen already.
I'm sure we can go on
picture.
and on and on, but I think as a final question, I would ask you this. Would you have been happier staying back in the paper, pulp and packaging industry, or are you happy that you moved to the pharma industry packaging?
Both are like my both two eyes. In fact, packaging also saves the world in a way, but the pharmaceutical is more close to me. In fact, I'm trying to go on researching and meeting more friends. How the drug delivery. In fact, I'm more into the drug delivery areas. How safely the medicines can be taken to the patients. That's also equally important. It's not only the innovation. I'm not a pharmacist, so I don't talk about the innovation, the molecules and the chemicals and the composition of the drugs, etc. But taking them rightly and safely to the patient, to the journey, I still keep researching into that, try to contribute into that, and also as I'm recognized as the most influential leader in the pharmaceutical worldwide, promoting the brand India Pharmaceuticals. I keep doing this passionately as long as I can.
If given a chance to start your life all over again, would you do something different?
I don't think so. In fact, I like the way about what many people ask me, you would have spent this money somewhere, you invested somewhere and all. Many people, not just in family, many people outside also. What you get by moving around the world, by talking so much by passionately and positively on the India and Indian industry around the world, not really looking for self gains and all. I think it's more gain for me. I passionately keep meeting a lot of people, and I always climb. I like connecting the dots. Many people ask me, do you know certain person in the USA or Sweden or Finland or Melbourne or Sydney or Thailand? So I have so many people known to me around the world. That gives me a great satisfaction. And then, as I told, keep connecting the dots around the world as long as you
Thank you very
can.
much. Ladies, thank you very much, sir, for sparing the time and speaking to us on the HYBIZTV conversations. It was wonderful learning your journey, because I'm sure this kind of will inspire many youngsters today who call themselves as startups, who are trying to do things differently, and they will learn more lessons when they listen to you, when they speak to you, and then when they understand what you do. Thank you very much, sir.
It's really my
Namaskar.
pleasure and my honor. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sri AVPS Chakravarthi, and a doyen, as he rightly is, in this pharma industry and also in the packaging industry. The way he traversed his journey from a small town of Rajahmundry to around 50 countries in the world, and today is an icon in his own right. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.